Well, I think he has softened up over the years. Like with a lot of people, when they get older, they not always, but I think he has softened up a little bit. But it's also a little bit that it was kind of two ways with him. And like for instance, his wife was interviewed by some magazines in the Netherlands, and she said repeatedly in interviews, the person that I see on TV, this was, I don't know, 10 years ago or something like that. So the person that I see, the Louis van Gaal that I see on TV and getting all worked up with, certain reporters in news conferences, that's not the person I know, because he's a warm person. He's kind, he's caring, he's loving, he's sensitive, he's witty, and all those kind of things. So I think it's a little bit of both. So he's very um, he has a really strong sense of righteousness. If people don't take him seriously, then or ask questions that he think are dumb questions, he gets offended, he gets worked up, and so forth. So I think, I don't know, he has over the years, he has worked a little bit on his I don't know, communication skills, whatever you want to call it. But back then that wasn't so great. And his wife commented on that and said, "Look, you're getting two completely different pictures. There's this tough, as you call it, taskmaster, disciplinarian, and then at the same time there's this really warm, kind, loving and caring person." It's interesting. He's really involved in this charity called it's translated as muscles for muscles. In other words, the strong people, they support people that have some issues with either muscular dystrophy and things like that. So he spends substantial amount of time supporting this charity. So that's the kind of person he is. He really cares about people. He's a generous person, a kind person. So he has both of these elements. Hmm. I think that maybe to some degree, many people have a bit of a so-called celebrity status, are a little bit cautious what they say about their personal life. But maybe to some extent, he and actually some of these other guys too, like Ten Hag is like that also, and Advocaat also has that very strongly. They're a bit extreme in shielding their private life. I mean, when I when I remember when I was writing about Advocaat, I had the hardest time to find out anything about his personal life. Even though I spoke to him personally, he wrote even a foreword in my bio about him. But very very extreme, and that. Van Gaal has that too. He keeps these things to himself, personal issues and so forth. Um, I was a bit surprised about this, though. I thought that he would have said something, but maybe he was kind of protecting people. I don't know, to keep the atmosphere right in the run up to the World Cup. I don't know what his reasoning was. I personally don't think it's a very good idea, because they always say that when you have cancer, you need to connect to people, you need to be able to air your grievances and so forth and so on. But anyway, that's the choice that he made. I guess we have to respect it. And so maybe he was protecting his team a little bit from the extra pressures. That may be true. That may be the case. Yeah, the Dutch, they of course they're happy that he's winning games, but they're not so happy with his excuse me, with his playing style. Of course, they want to see 4-3-3 or something like that, attacking football, but they're playing a somewhat conservative style, against even against a team like United States. It was kind of conservative as they held back a little bit and then playing on the counter and scoring. That's true. But that's not really what Dutch people enjoy seeing. They want to see the attacking style, the style that basically Ten Hag plays. That's what they but so I expect that we'll probably get more 5-3-2 against Argentina, especially against Argentina, and who knows, maybe he can pull it off. But yeah, so people are a little bit of two minds about it. It worked for him in 2014. He got a long way in Brazil with it. But yeah, so people, everybody likes the success, but they would like to see some beautiful football, as they call it, also. So kind of happy, but not so happy at the same time. His style is interesting. That I just read in a little interview with him in the Dutch media, and he was saying, I printed it out. Actually, it was kind of interesting that he was saying, um, because he was challenged. He said, the reporter asked him, okay, 4-3-3. Why do you use this 5-3-2 system all the time? And he got upset. It's the same question from you all the time. If you don't understand how that football evolves, you don't see that or understand it. It's hard to imagine for you. When I came up with that more defensive system in 2014, I also received the same criticism. But now the half of the world plays like that. Compact defending is simply easier than attacking. And now it seems that we are only defending. That's not true. I try to apply pressure whenever possible. So he says basically that he is adapting to a reality in football. I think to some extent that's true because the way some of these teams defend, especially the teams that are not so strong, it's like they park three buses in front of their goal and you just don't get through, right? So I think to some extent he is adapting his style to that development in football. I think it's not inevitable. I still see, because you see people like Pep Guardiola and also Erik ten Hag still playing that extreme attacking style. So I don't know if it's completely fair to make that statement, but maybe when you don't have the strength to play that style, then you have to default to a more defensive style. Yeah, and off the pitch, like I mentioned, I think he has softened a little bit. He is uh, got a better manner of speaking with the media, interacting with people. Though even here, when I read this interview, I said, "Oh my gosh, here we go again, same old Louis," right? So he still has that strain running in him, where he gets worked up when people ask what he calls dumb questions. So I think so. I think so. Gakpo is great. He is so good, tactically, skill wise. He's fantastic technique, and he is brimming with confidence. He's a young guy. He has a lot of energy. He's a great player. So I think he will be a very apt replacement for Ronaldo. To have him at the top would be fantastic. So I think that. I mean, I don't know. You never know because with the transfers, it's always people say this, people say that, and so. But it seems like he could be a real target, and I would think that Ten Hag would be very, very happy to have him at Manchester. Can talk to him in Dutch, of course, which is also very nice. And I certainly would be happy because he's a fantastic player, and I think he would just add the dimension, the power that Manchester in the front is lacking at the moment. I don't know if I would say that he's the one guy. I think that he's definitely at the top. In the front, he's probably definitely one of the very best in Dutch football. But it's hard to predict because you probably know a little bit about Dutch football. They're very strong at the academies, especially the Ajax academy is very strong. So you never know what they turn out. All of a sudden, there's some kid, 18, 19 years old, and boom, he breaks into the first 11, and there you go. So hard to say, maybe, but there might be others. There definitely might be others alongside with him.